Hello, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Well, morning where I am. I don't know what's going on with y'all. Whatever time zone you're in, for some of you it's morning, some of you it's evening. I'm getting here so I can record this. I just got back from my run, so I'm a little sweaty. Sorry. All right. We have morning run hair. We have dewy sweat. And I'm ready to rock my day. Welcome to Wake the Fuck Up Wednesday. All right. So today, today I'm so excited because it's my birthday on Sunday. And we're going to be out listening to music, amazing bands playing outdoors. It's going to be awesome. And so today I wanted to talk about Ziji because I was thinking about my birthday, thinking about what I wanted to do, thinking about planning my adventure mastermind. So, my adventure mastermind is like a 6 month amazing experience where I work with 10 people and we go through 6 months of deep diving into our purpose in life and what we want to create. And we manifest some serious shit in like 6 months. And I was planning the adventures. That's why it's called the Adventure Mastermind, because we don't just like go on hikes and stuff like that, which is awesome. We also make sure to have adventures that push our edge. Yeah. And the reason I do that is because I really believe that we, by expanding our comfort zone, have more capacity and resilience to grow inwardly and take inner risks as well as outward risks. So we're more willing to face truths within our own lives, within ourselves, within our integrity. And we're able to take bigger risks out in the world with, things that may not be that comfortable to do, like leaving professions and leaving friendships, leaving relationships, um, starting relationships, starting a new business, starting a new profession. So, Ziji is a Tibetan word. I first came across it in my studies of Tibetan Buddhism, and it means radiant inner confidence. Yeah. So, I was like, I love this word because it's not just confidence. It's not just like, hey, I'm going to get out there and do amazing stuff and I believe in myself. There's a depth to it of knowing yourself so well and having this deep belief in your capacity and in your resilience. There's also a deep acceptance that, like my podcast last week was, that being human is hard because it is. Not all the time, but it is. And when we constantly try to protect ourselves from not having any challenging experiences, we miss out on so much. So the outer adventures, as I'm planning these, I'm like, yeah, we're not just gonna go snorkeling, we're gonna go night snorkeling, or we're gonna go like past the edge of the reef and, surfing and things that kind of push our edge more so that we can have a very visceral experience of challenge that we can then translate into our day to day lives, inside and outside, right? So today I wanted to talk about, let me just see here. Oh, I can't see my Facebook people. Where are you there? Oh, hello everyone. Okay. So I wanted to kind of give some examples of ZG. Okay. So one time I was flying back from a business meeting in Asheville, North Carolina to Ashland, Oregon. And on the plane, I was sitting next to this amazing Texan hydrogeologist. And she was telling me this story about how when she was single, she promised herself that when she had kids, she would raise them in Mexico. So for her, that was her dream. Yeah. And she was thinking, okay, I don't know how this is going to happen or when this is going to happen, but I'm going to make sure that I
Recording
live,
in progress.
thanks, Zoom, that I'm going to create this life that I want. She had a dream, a vision, right? So she had gone through all of the ranks of her career, right? Giving up a lot of her own personal needs to advance professionally. But this dream about her kids in Mexico, she's like, I'm never letting go of that, right? And for her, it was like the perfect place to raise kids with the cultural immersion, the life expanding experiences. So years later, when she's at the height of her career, like peaking out, right? Her kids arrive. And it wasn't the best timing, right? But did she freak out, being like, oh my gosh, I'm at a high point in my career. What am I going to do? No, she didn't question it at all. She was like, kids, all right, now it's time to go to Mexico. There was that Ziji, that radiant inner confidence that like this was so important and this was something I have to do, right? So so she goes and her husband's on board too. They sold everything, moved to Mexico. Now, another point about ZG is that shit was not easy, right? It's not like you just buck up, have a bunch of confidence, and then everything is goes your way because you're doing the right thing. It was challenging, and not just for like 6 months. So she said it was like 6 years, 6 years that things were really challenging, and it was not until after 6 years that things started turning around. And then she and her husband started a furniture business, and it grew, and it became a success. This very successful hydrogeologist, right? Something totally different. And after 16 years in Mexico, they're super happy and content. Yeah. And in the end, she says that she sees it as one of the best decisions of her life. And it's been this amazing, enriching experience for her kids. And she confirms this by saying, like, to have not gone, to wonder what if would have been far worse than the challenges she endured during those 6 to 7 years, right? That's ZG. That's like knowing yourself and what you want so clearly that no matter what happens, you're going to get back up and do it. Yeah. So, if we look at the metaphor of a house, right? Like, let's kind of take ourselves back to, why do we need this ZG? Well, before bad things happen to us, right, in life, these challenges, if we think of our life like this house with open windows, big lights, amazing views, and all of that, fresh breezes coming in, it's like this experience, this connection with life out there. One of the reasons I love a yurt, like you feel really connected to the outdoors, right? And the windows and the doors, they allow like opportunity to come in and for you to seek it out. But over time in our lives, what happens is as we live our life, we have experiences, good ones and bad ones. And the bad ones hurt us. Or maybe they scare us, they piss us off, right? And then we start wanting to avoid those experiences. And we want to protect ourselves from them as much as possible so that we never have to experience them again, right? So we get out and we start closing the doors and the windows, right? Like a partner leaves you for someone else. Boom, shut that window. Like trust shuts down. You share your dream with your beloved or with your family members, and they're like, that's not really realistic, right? Boom, dreaming shuts down. You splurge on yourself, finally, and then you lose your job. Oh shit. See, I knew I shouldn't have been generous towards myself. That shuts down, right? You get turned down by the graduate school you're applying to twice, right? Taking big risks shuts down. So there's so many reasons why we close those windows down, why we shut that down. And eventually, when those are all shut, we kind of sit in there and we're like, all right, I'm safe. Whoopee, right? But it's not. We're not actually safe. Being a human is hard. You're still in a body. You still haven't transcended the body. So we're still going to experience that shit. And life is still going to happen. And we've closed all these doors for possible experiences to come in, right? So then we don't take any real risks. And I don't know about y'all, but when I take big risks, the most amazing things happen, right? On a very basic level, like amazing mountaineering trips, amazing expeditions, sea kayaking trips, taking big risks, yeah? And it's a really crappy place to be when we just want everything to be safe. And the reason that we often feel that way is not the event itself, right? It's not the event itself, it's because we don't trust ourselves, right? So in her book Unconditional Confidence, Pema Chodron talks about Ziji, and she's like, you're on the edge of an ocean and you see the waves of life coming, right? These challenging experiences, right, that have us closing the doors. So we see those coming at us and we don't know what to do. We're scared. We don't want to drown. So even though they knock us down, we get back up, right? And then we start anticipating, like, that one's probably going to knock me down. And then we're like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. We like turn around and we start running, right? And maybe we stand our ground. We're like, okay, I'm not going to be able to outrun this one. I'm going to stand my ground. I'm not going to get knocked down. And then the wave comes and it's the ocean. So it knocks your ass down, right? And we get tumbled like a washing machine and we get sand up our nose and all the nooks and crannies. And we're like, this really sucks. I hate getting knocked down. I hate getting knocked down. The ocean is so powerful. The waves just don't stop, right? And here's the thing. What we're not afraid of necessarily is the waves. It's that we don't trust that we're going to get back up. You know, if you go to the podcast for this that's being released tomorrow, I chose to put a picture of a surfer on there because one thing that I love about learning to surf, because I'm not a great surfer at all, but I still go out and do it, is like I had a few near drowning experiences when I was a kid. And in surfing, like you got to get used to being knocked around and like tossed under and like spun all around, right? It's pretty like for me, it was so good for me to get comfortable being tossed around like that under the ocean after the experiences I'd had previously. And here's the thing, we don't cultivate Ziji, that confidence that we're going to get back up, because that's what Ziji is. Ziji is knowing, hey, I am going to get back up no matter what life sends my way. When Ziji happens and gets cultivated within us, we're like, bring it on. But we can't cultivate it without getting knocked down. That's the crazy part, y'all. That's why adventures are so important to me, right? Because they kind of give you a little smacking, right? In a way that is your choice, that is also fun and amazing and rewarding. Because look, life is going to send you some shit, right? Like y'all may or may not know I've had cancer twice. I don't know if you know that, but like I had renal cell carcinoma. And then right when I was like, I think I was 5 years out from that, because that had a 5% 5-year survival rate. Yay, me. Made it. And then after 5 years, I got freaking melanoma, even though I'm like downtown brown, right? So it was a non-sun related one, they said. But anyway, so going through my cancer, right? One time I was getting my follow-up MRIs, which are done to like, make sure nothing's returned. And I was getting that done and I get a call on a Friday at 4:55 p.m. from my uro-oncologist. And he's like, "Hey, so I guess I couldn't reach you. I'm going to be out of the office until Tuesday, so just give me a call then and we'll go over those results." And I'm like, did anybody teach you in oncology school not to leave a message like that on a Friday to a cancer patient? And so I'm freaking out, right? I'm like, oh my God, I have to wait. I listen to this call over and over. I give the phone to my friends. I'm like, listen to this. Does he sound concerned to you? And they're like, no, he sounds kind of like jolly. And like, I'm like, well, maybe he's practiced, and I'm thinking of all these scary things. And Fortunately, I had a coach training because y'all know I always go back and do trainings. So I had a coach training and I raised my hand to get coached by one of my favorite colleagues, Sabina. And she was like, "You have 2 minutes left to live. Um, what do you want to say?" So, some very important aspects of that moment for me were when we were talking about my experience, I actually verbalized, like, I'm afraid to die. Like, there have been times in my life where I was like, this is a good time. I've like been living my life, doing everything great today. Today would be okay. I was like, this is not one of those days. I am not living in integrity and in alignment with who I really want to be. I was in a really toxic relationship. I was I was not ready. It wasn't time. And so she said, well, what do you want to say if you had 2 minutes to live? It was like, let's go there. Let's face it. 2 minutes, you're going to be gone. And what I said, and this is what I want to say to you today, is let's wake the fuck up. That was why I called this Wake the Fuck Up Wednesday. It's not because it's morning time and we're sipping tea like this. I love my tea. But it's because I wanted everyone to know how precious this life is and how fleeting it is, how the only constant is change, and how we don't know how long we'll be here. So we shouldn't like mess around thinking, yeah, later all the time. Obviously, there's things we have to plan for. We have to like live in both worlds, right? But I was like, this is the message I really want to bring. And it really kind of solidified the trajectory of my coaching career with, what I focus on, what I choose to teach my clients. And it's sort of using this awareness, this mindfulness of the preciousness of this life to live as fully as possible. So, Ziji, y'all. Oh, by the way, obviously I called on Tuesday at like 8:01 a.m. and everything's fine. And I'm like, oh my gosh, why couldn't you have just said that, right? So I want to let you know that Ziji is totally possible for you to cultivate. This radiant inner confidence. It's within all of us. The context of the teaching is that this is something that we can cultivate and practice and learn for ourselves so that we don't spend our lives like closing windows and closing doors and closing off these opportunities. And instead, we say, bring it on. Like the surfer that gets out there and goes and gets it. Like the climbers that go and like climb harder and harder shit and fall and fall and fall until they keep getting better. The skiers that commit to this super sketchy line. Like in life, we have these decisions too. Yeah, adventures make it really clear what those are. But living in integrity, like owning your truth about who you want to be and how you want to show up in the world and what you want to create in life, that takes the same kind of courage. It really does. And so that's Ziji, right? We have one precious life. Let's not waste it worrying about what might happen and then later wonder what if, right? We need to like carpe the dang diem and cultivate Ziji so that we can get out there and say, bring it on. I can handle it. I want to live this so fully, right? And you're listening to this for a reason, right? Like, I don't know why you saw this pop up in your feed, but here you are and you're listening to it. And the message I want to leave is like, you arrived here. I am kind of like the tick tock of death's clock, reminding you to wake the fuck up now, right? Let's get the ZG on and make this precious life of yours your freaking masterpiece. Because that's what it is, right? It's your masterpiece with all of its challenges, okay? All right, I gotta go because I got some shizzle to do. I gotta like shower and stuff because after my run, I'm a little slinty. So, hey, if you want to join me in the Adventure Mastermind, The website will be broadcast on Sunday, but you could get on the wait list. So if you're on my email list, you'll get a notification of it, but go to adventuremastermind.com. Adventuremastermind.com. Join me. It's going to be amazing. And if you didn't know this already, because I did send out for some early bird people, for the first 5 people that sign up, I pay for your round trip ticket to the first retreat in November in the Big Island of Hawaii. So you should come. It'll be amazing. And yes, I'm sorry, but only for people who identify as a woman. Okay, if that's you, you should come. So I will see you at adventuremastermind.com. Have an amazing day, okay? No matter what, cultivate that Ziji. Go take some risks. Don't close off to those opportunities, all right? Mwah. So much love, my friends. Bye.